All right, so having a look at the back. All right, so I like to choose one side for the back, and we're just going to be more fussy on our way towards prattle. So now it's not just a matter of like, hey, get 2 hooks in. It's like, where specifically am I going to put my legs and my arms? So the 4 main control points are his 2 hip bones and his 2 shoulder points. So this foot now is specifically looking for the inside of that hip, and this foot here is usually controlling this leg or looking for the inside of that one. So if he tries to, if he starts trying to roll this way, that foot of mine is controlling his inner adductor there. This hand is pushing towards the belt, not trying to pull up high. I want him to have a nice separation between his hand and his neck. And it's a lot easier for me, strength-wise, to push his hand towards his belt than it is to try and pull it towards his body. So my attention's pushing there. Now, with my arm, it's not just over his shoulder. I'm paying careful attention to his top shoulder, and my elbow is resting against that. So now if he makes any movement to go that way, it's really restricted between my right foot holding his hip down and my right elbow pulling hard into his shoulder there. Yeah, right? So when I'm here like that, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about these 4 points that I'm controlling, and then this arm of his is going to come over because he thinks I'm trying to choke him. I can move that away. I catch it with my leg, park it back on his hip. Some people put the leg behind their back, like this. He's going to put his head down. I always keep my head very close, and I've got to dominate the downside of his head, because if I don't, if he can start putting his head in that gap, I'm starting to lose back mount. So I've got to be very vigilant about keeping my head in very close here while I'm doing everything. I use my arm to lift his nose. I go under. I grab my own lapel, and here's an example of it. I could be tempted to start stretching my back, but that now I've lost my head position, and he can start moving inside my choke, and I'll lose it. So I've got to make sure that when I get under the neck, that my chin is really close to his ear, and I make sure there's no space or opportunity for him to move his head to the downside of my head. Then I've got to create a vice. My chest behind him pushing, and I'm breathing in and filling my lungs with air to make the bottom part of the vice. My arm is the obvious part. It's on top and in front of his body, and most people only use that to do the pressure. Whereas you're behind him, so extend your chest, breathe in, take a deep breath, and it's very hard on him because I'm crushing him from both sides. In terms of doing an arm bar from here, all I need to do, the old way used to be to hold a figure 4, bring it over it, but that's hard work trying to get my arm all the way over his head. So what I like to do is leave this, bring one arm and use my elbow point to push his head across, and then make my figure 4. And I use my elbow point. If I use my forearm, he's comfortable leaning on, go head to head, there. So he's very comfortable, go back. If I use my elbow point, it's very sharp, it's very strong, and it's the longest that my humerus can be, making it real easy, even for an old person like me, to bring my leg over. When I bring my leg over, I'm not going to start extending my body. I'm going to drive into his head, blam, and drive his head away from the arm. Yeah, not the other way, right? On here, when I bring the leg over, it's literally one movement, over, back, to there. I don't give him any chance to change. Bam, nice wrist lock there, right? Okay?